Welcome back to the deep dive. We are doing something very different today.
Yeah.
Usually, when we pull sources on entrepreneurship, we're looking at fairly polished stuff. You know the type.
Oh, yeah, the TED Talks, the bestsellers about finding your passion.
Exactly. Corporate guides on how to network with a smile, all of that.
Right. The safe version of success, the version that looks good on LinkedIn.
But today's source material is, well, it's not safe, not even close.
Mm.
We've been analyzing this text file. It's just titled Promoter. That's it. And it's effectively a manifesto, but reading it doesn't feel like a business seminar.
No.
It feels more like getting cornered in a dive bar at 2 a.m. by a mentor who has just seen the absolute worst of the business world, and he wants to scare you straight.
It is so gritty. It's aggressive, and frankly, at times it almost borders on paranoid. But, and this is why we're talking about it, if you can strip away the anger, there is a brutally logical system under all of it.
That's the mission today. We're going to look past the tone and really just extract the mechanics, because this document offers a technical, zero-budget roadmap for building a marketing machine from scratch.
But you have to be warned. The author, let's just call him the promoter, he isn't interested in your happiness.
Nah.
He is interested in your survival.
Survival's the right word. He frames this whole thing not as a career choice, but as a mental war.
Mm.
And in his view, the biggest danger isn't failing to make a profit. It's getting eaten alive by what he calls the predators.
Let's start right there. That predator mindset is the foundation for everything else he talks about.
It really is. Most business advice tells you find a mentor, be vulnerable, ask for help. This manifesto says that is the single stupidest thing you could possibly do.
Yeah.
Why is he so against asking for help?
Because he believes the entire ecosystem is fundamentally hostile. He argues that beginners fall into what we can probably call an empathy trap.
An empathy trap.
Yeah. You know, we're conditioned by society, school, parents, whatever, to think that if we're struggling, if we're the underdog, people will naturally want to help us up. The promoter just says, look at the guys in the nice cars. Look at the people who have already made it.
Do they look like they care?
Do they look like they care about your struggle? No.
There's a line in the text that's just, they're so cold. He says, don't expect them to be up there because you're a beginner. Oh, give you a hand there. He just says they'll look the other way.
Or worse. And that's his whole point. He warns that if you approach these people asking for a handout or signaling you don't know what you're doing, you aren't finding a mentor.
You're painting a target on your back.
You're painting a target on your back. To a predator, a naive beginner isn't a charity case. They're cheap labor, someone to exploit, or, someone to sell a useless course to.
So by showing vulnerability, you aren't building a connection. You're just signaling that you are prey.
Exactly. He says successful people are looking for leverage. They're looking for equals or assets. If you come in begging or looking for someone to save you, you have no leverage. You're essentially handing them the knife.
This leads to one of the most controversial rules in the whole document, the no questions rule. I found this one really hard to swallow at first because that's how we learn, right? We ask questions. But he is absolutely adamant about this.
It's harsh, but you have to look at it in the context of this war he's describing. He says if you have a question, even a simple one, like, how do I file this tax form? You write it down on a piece of paper.
And then
you answer it yourself.
You are forbidden from asking another human being.
Not until you have exhausted every single other resource.
Books, Google, large language models. He says asking a basic question disables yourself.
Disables yourself. That is some strong language.
Yeah.
Is he saying that asking for help makes you incompetent?
Yeah.
He's saying it makes you weak. I mean, think about a negotiation. If you and I are about to do a deal, and I ask you, hey, how does this contract standardly work? What have I just told you?
You've told me you've never done this before, that I can probably take advantage of you.
Right. I've just handed you the upper hand. I revealed my ignorance. The promoter believes you have to build a mind-muscle connection. You have to do the reps yourself.
So if someone gives you the
You're
answer,
mentally weak. If you dig the answer out of the mud yourself, you own that knowledge. And more importantly, when you do finally walk into that room with the sharks, you don't have to ask permission. You already know the terrain.
it's about this extreme self-reliance. It prevents you from looking like an amateur, which brings us to the whole mental war idea. He talks a lot about boredom, which I found surprising. You usually associate hustle with excitement and high energy.
Oh, he hates the excitement of entrepreneurship culture. He says, and this is a direct quote, it's always boring. fucking boring.
Right. Excuse the language, but that's what's in the text. So why is boredom so important to him?
It's a filter. If a business opportunity feels exciting or fast or easy like a quick fix, he says it is 100% a trap.
A lie.
It's a lie sold by advertisers to get your money. Real success, the kind that keeps the lights on for 10 years, is a slow, grinding, repetitive process. If you can't handle being bored, you've already lost.
So that's the mental battle.
That's it. Your brain craves the dopamine of the easy win, but the easy win is just a mirage.
Okay, so we've got the mindset. We're lone wolves, we don't ask for help, and we're ready to be bored. Now what? How do we actually start? Because he doesn't just leave it at philosophy. He gives a very specific method he calls the detective board.
This is the visualization of that no questions rule. Before you spend a single penny, or a pin, as he puts it, you have to map the territory. He literally wants you to act like a detective in a crime thriller.
Like a physical board.
Get a physical board, a digital whiteboard, whatever, and start mapping.
What are we putting on this board?
Everything. Who are the players in your niche? What are their prices? Where do they get their supplies from? How does the money flow from customer to business? He wants you to draw controlled lines connecting all of these dots.
You're building a whole mental model of the battlefield before you even step onto it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this connects to what he calls the imposter defense.
Right.
This is the payoff for all of that lonely research. He says if you do this deep mapping, when you finally meet the people who are already in the game, you won't look like an idiot. You won't look like, this is my favorite image in the text, a rainbow that fell into their bed.
It's such a weirdly specific insult. A rainbow that fell into their bed. What does that even mean?
It just implies chaos and naivety. A beautiful mess that doesn't belong. A rainbow is pretty, but it has no substance. He wants you to look like a soldier, not a rainbow.
So even if you have zero experience, if you know the jargon, the players, the economics, you've earned a seat at the table.
Or at the very least, they won't try to eat you immediately. They see you aren't clueless.
So you've done the detective work, you've mapped the territory. Now comes the part where this old school rant meets modern tech. He pivots to a very, very technical blueprint, and the constraint is absolute, zero budget.
Don't spend a pin. That's his rule. Do not spend money until you are making money.
Which means we are using AI. He lays out a tech stack, ChatGPT, 11 Labs, video editing software. But it's the way he uses them that caught my attention. It's not the standard, push button, get money advice.
No.
Let's talk about the writing first.
Okay, so he warns against the lazy worker mentality. This is where 99% of people fail with AI. They go to ChatGPT, they type, write me an ad for my product, copy the output, and post it.
And it reads like a robot wrote it. Unlock your potential. Delve into the future. It's just lifeless.
It's garbage. The promoter says you have to refine the prompt, you have to fight with the AI.
Yeah.
Iterate, edit. That's the boring part he was talking about before.
You use the AI as a tool, not a replacement for your brain.
Exactly. You guide it until the output is indistinguishable from a human expert. If you just copy-paste, you are just adding to the noise.
But the real insight here, the one that I think is worth the price of admission for anyone in marketing, is his audio strategy. We've all scrolled past those videos on TikTok with that standard AI voice. It's an immediate disengagement.
It's terrible. It signals spam to your brain instantly. The promoter knows this. So he suggests using a specific feature in 11 Labs called voice-to-voice.
Okay, walk us through that workflow. How is it different from just typing text?
So normally you type text, the AI reads it, that's text-to-speech, it's flat, it lacks emotion, it gets the emphasis all wrong.
Right.
With voice-to-voice, you record the script yourself. You just speak into your phone. You act it out. You put in the whispers, the shouts, the pauses, the speed changes.
But wait, if I'm recording it, why do I need the AI? Why not just use my own voice?
Well, maybe you have a bad microphone. Maybe you have an accent you aren't confident in. Maybe you want to sound like a grizzled 50-year-old veteran, but you're a 20-year-old student. The AI takes your performance, the tempo, the emotion, and just maps a professional studio-quality voice skin right over it.
That is fascinating. So you get the human cadence, the soul of the performance, but the polish of a professional narrator.
Precisely. It removes that robot feel that kills engagement, but it costs a fraction of hiring a voice actor. And true to his paranoid nature, he adds a financial tip.
Of course he does.
Test heavily before you pay. Don't buy the subscription until you've tested the voice on the free tier to make sure it fitted the brand. He is obsessed with cost control.
Then we get to the visual side. He talks about the faceless channel trend, and he offers two paths. Option A, use your own face. Option B, create a character.
And he actually prefers option A, using your face.
Which surprised me, given how paranoid he is about everything else.
It's a calculated risk. If you use your face, you own the brand. You own the royalties. No one can steal you from you. If you build a faceless brand with stock footage, someone can copy it tomorrow.
But not everyone wants to be on camera, so if you go with option B, the character, what's the rule?
He says you can't just use random clips. You need consistency. You need to train a model on a specific character so that every video features the same person, even if that person doesn't actually exist. It builds recognition.
And he mentions a paper trail here, which I found really specific.
This is that survivor mentality again. He says if you create a digital character, you need to document the process, keep the files, prove you created it. Because if you succeed, someone will try to claim it's theirs or that you stole it.
Wow.
He's always thinking 10 steps ahead to the lawsuit that might happen in 5 years.
It's intense how much he focuses on defense. Even while he's attacking the market, he's defending his flank.
That's the war mindset. You don't just march forward, you secure your perimeter.
So we have our script, we've got our voice-to-voice audio, our character. Now we need a strategy to actually get views. He has a very strict rule about length, short form only.
Under 3 minutes. TikTok, Reels, Shorts.
Why is he so against long form for beginners?
Purely a resource calculation. Long-form video like a YouTube documentary, it takes days, maybe weeks to produce. If you're a beginner with zero budget, you cannot afford to spend a week making a 10-minute video that gets 0 views. It's a bad bet.
You need more shots on goal.
Exactly. Short form is low cost, high volume. It's guerrilla warfare. You can make 5 videos a day. You can fail 49 times, but if that 50th one hits, you win. You just can't do that with long form when you're starting out.
And every single piece of content needs one thing.
A call to action, a CTA, link in bio. He is so adamant about this. He compares making content without a CTA to standing in a market giving away free food. He asks, why are you spending all this time to give it for free?
It sounds a little greedy, but I get the point. If you aren't driving traffic somewhere, you're not a promoter, you're a philanthropist.
And he is definitely not a philanthropist.
Yeah.
He views attention as a currency. You capture it, and then you spend it by directing it to a link.
That leads to the audience strategy. He uses let's say, a colorful analogy to explain why you need to niche down.
Oh, yeah.
The girl with the big boobs analogy.
Yeah. We have to look past the crudeness to see the algorithm logic there. It's a very vivid way of explaining user retention.
So break it down for us. What is he actually saying with that?
He asks, if you see a video of an attractive person on TikTok and you click through to their profile, what are you looking for?
More of the same.
Exactly. You want consistency. If you go to that profile and the next video is about gardening and the third is about crypto and the fourth is a cooking demo, you leave. You lose interest. You don't follow.
So the lesson isn't about being attractive. It's about signal consistency.
Correct. He says you aren't trying to reach 1 million random people. You are trying to reach 100,000 faithful people, people who want exactly what you are selling.
Yeah.
You have to create a consistent flow.
It's about training the algorithm, isn't it?
You're teaching the algorithm. My channel provides X, so when it finds one person who likes X, it knows it can safely show your video to 10 other people who also like X. If your content is mixed up, the algorithm gets confused and just stops showing you to anyone.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, once you have that organic flow working, the question of paid ads comes up. Should I boost this post? Should I run some Facebook ads? What does the promoter say?
He basically screams, don't put your hand in your pocket.
He is dead set against paid ads for beginners.
Yeah, he views paying for ads before you have a proven organic following as basically a donation to Mark Zuckerberg. He says, you are just making the ad platforms rich.
That's a sobering thought. We see so many people thinking, oh, I'll just throw $50 at this to get started.
And he says, that's nonsense. If it doesn't work organically, if real people aren't clicking on it for free throwing money at the sorted, it won't fix the core problem. It just amplifies a bad message. You have to prove the product works organically first. Only then do you scale with paid ads.
It all comes back to that self-reliance. Prove it yourself. Don't rely on the system to help you.
The underlying theme of this whole document is that the system, the ad platforms, the gurus, the established companies, it's all designed to take your money, not make you money.
Right.
The only person who cares about your shop staying open is you.
You know, we've covered the philosophy, the research, the tech, the strategy, but the ending of this source material, It took a turn I was not expecting. We started with business advice, and we ended with a warning about prison.
It gets very dark, very fast. But it's consistent with his worldview. He shifts his focus to time and consequence.
He warns that cutting corners, trying to get rich fast, doing things that might be in a gray area, it leads to two places: failure or a cage.
Yeah, he says in 10 years from now, they're going to catch you.
Yeah.
He talks about how there are thousands of people working for the government whose sole job is to catch scammers and fraudsters. The system is efficient. You might get away with it for a year. You won't get away with it for 20.
That really struck me. He's asking, are you building something that can actually survive a decade?
It's the ultimate argument for the boring path. He says the boring path, the legal path, the hard work path is the only one that doesn't end in tragedy. I mean, he asks you to imagine building something for 10 years, sweating over it, only to lose it all and go to prison because you cut a corner back in year one. It's a terrifying calculus.
It just shifts the definition of success. It's not about making money. It's about keeping the shop open with dignity.
In a bad neighborhood, that's his metaphor for the market. It's a bad neighborhood. Keeping your shop open, resisting the temptation to scam, resisting the predators, and doing it honorably, that, to him, is the real victory.
It's a heavy note to end on, but it feels necessary given the whole war metaphor. So what are the key takeaways if we distill the promoter's manifesto into a few points for the listener who wants to apply this?
I think we can break it down into 4 commandments. Number 1, reject the empathy trap. Do not expect help. If you act like a victim, you will be treated like prey. It's cynical, but it forces you to be strong.
Number 2, do the detective work. Build your board. Don't ask questions until you've exhausted every other option. This builds that mind-muscle connection you need to survive.
Number 3 is the tactical side. Master the tools, but don't be lazy. Use voice-to-voice for human connection, refine your prompts until they're perfect, and create a consistent character. Don't just be another AI spammer.
And number 4, embrace the boredom. If it's boring, it's probably working. If it's exciting, it's probably a trap.
Or a one-way ticket to a cell.
Indeed. It's a philosophy that strips away all the fun parts of the entrepreneur dream and leaves you with just the work. But maybe that's why it's so valuable.
It's advice for the person who has realized that the dream was a sales pitch, and now they just want to build something real.
As we wrap up, I want to leave you with a thought based on that final warning in the text. The promoter is obsessed with the long game 10, 20 years down the line.
Right. And here's the question for you to consider. If you knew that everything you built today would be audited in 10 years, by the government, by your competitors, even by your own children, would you change how you are building it right now?
That's heavy. It forces you to look at your own shortcuts.
It does. But if you're just trying to get rich by Friday, you're playing a different game. And according to our source, that game usually ends in game over. The boring path is the only one that actually goes somewhere.
Something to mull over as you stare at your own detective board this week. Thanks for listening to this deep dive. We'll see you in the next one.
Stay safe out there.